March 20th is circled on every digital Circus fan's calendar. Episode 8 drops in less than 8 weeks, and the hype train is already leaving the station. But here's the thing. We don't need to wait until March to start piecing together what's coming. Between official teasers, cryptic posts from Gooseworks, and some fascinating leaks, we can paint a pretty clear picture of what Episode 8 has in store. Let's break down everything we know about the next chapter of the amazing digital circus. Gooseworks has a habit of dropping seemingly random phrases before each episode releases, and Episode 8 is no exception. The first one that's got everyone scratching their heads is zippy-tabap. Sounds like gibberish, right? But stick with me here. When you say it out loud a few times, it starts to sound like a mashup of zip it and shut up, basically a more creative way of telling someone to be quiet. And who's the one character we've seen repeatedly telling the circus residents to pipe down? That's right, Caine. Think back to how Episode 7 wrapped up. Jax confronted Caine about manipulating their minds, and Caine was desperately trying to get everyone to calm down and listen. The entire cast is more fed up with their AI ringmaster than ever before. My bet? Zippy-tabap is Caine's frustrated attempt to regain control of a situation that's spiraling away from him. The recent merch video actually backs this up. Caine uses similar phrases multiple times throughout that short clip. While we can't pin down exactly who he's directing this at, my money's on either Jax or Zubul, both of whom have made their distrust of Caine crystal clear. The second confirmed phrase is much simpler. It's you. Now, historically, Goose's leaked phrases haven't been plot bombshells. Remember, you're only making the joke take longer, or you made a whole guy for that. They were entertaining moments, but not exactly story-changing revelations. I'm expecting It's You to follow the same pattern, probably part of a comedic bit or a moment of realization that's funny rather than dramatic. Without more context, it's genuinely tough to predict the exact scenario, but I'd love to hear yours down in the comments. What situation do you think would make a character say, "It's you"? Let's talk numbers for a second, because the math here gets interesting. Before Episode 6 dropped, Gooseworks made a point that stuck with me. She said people worried 4 episodes wasn't enough time to wrap up the story, but those 4 episodes would total about 2.5 hours, basically the length of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And she asked, you know how much you can fit in a Pirates of the Caribbean? She was talking about episodes 6 through 9, totaling 150 minutes. Episodes 6 and 7 have already used up 56 minutes of that runtime, even accounting for credits. That leaves 94 minutes split between episodes 8 and 9. Here's where it gets wild. The finale, episode 9, is almost certainly going to be the longest episode of the series. I'd estimate somewhere between 50 and 55 minutes. Even being conservative and saying episode 9 is 50 minutes, that still leaves episode 8 with a minimum runtime of around 40 minutes. That's feature-length territory, folks. We're not getting a standard episode. We're getting a mini-movie that'll serve as the bridge to the grand finale. Quick sidebar to clear up a popular misconception that's been floating around. Someone on Tumblr asked Goose, what's the worst thing Jax has done? Her response was vague. You'll get to see that with your very eyes. This spawned a whole theory that Episode 8 would feature Jax doing something absolutely horrible, like betraying everyone or causing irreparable damage. But I think people are misreading that answer. Goose was almost certainly referring to the red button moment from Episode 7, when Jax's impulsive action destroyed their only potential exit from the digital circus. That was the worst thing Jax has done, and we've already seen it. I don't think Episode 8 is setting up another massive Jax betrayal. Gooseworks has described each episode with single words, and understanding these descriptions together is key, since Episodes 7 and 8 are essentially one story split in 2. Episode 7's descriptor was "huh," representing confusion, broken expectations, and shock as the characters discovered the truth about their situation. Episode 8's descriptor is "oh," which I interpret as acceptance. The shocked "huh" transforms into the resigned "oh." They've processed the reality of their imprisonment. They understand what they're dealing with now. This emotional shift from confusion to acceptance is crucial for what comes next, because acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means the characters can finally act with full knowledge of their situation. If you've been paying attention throughout this video, you've probably noticed how often Caine keeps coming up. That's not coincidental. With each new episode, Caine's role has evolved. He started as just the wacky AI host who created adventures and brought everyone home safely. But now, he's clearly the linchpin of the entire story. Even the table read reactions that Goose shared, which everyone initially thought were about episode 8 but turned out to be from episode 6, were hinting at Caine's importance. Episode 8 will almost certainly feature Caine as either the primary focus or at minimum one of the central characters. And here's something else to consider. If episodes take 5 to 6 months to produce, and episode 8 is dropping in just 3 months, that means it's been in production for a while already, which also means episode 9 has likely entered production. We could realistically see the Digital Circus finale drop in June or July 2026. So what actually happens in episode 8? Since it's a direct continuation of episode 7, we need to look at how that episode ended. The characters were emotionally drained, disappointed, and processing the revelation that escape might be impossible. But as the descriptor O suggests, this state won't last long. For the first time in the series, we're going to see all the characters united around a single goal, finding a way out of the digital circus. And here's where Jax becomes fascinating. Despite all his panic attacks and moments of vulnerability we've witnessed, Jax has proven himself to be perhaps the bravest character in the circus. I wouldn't be surprised if he steps up as a leader figure in episode 8, channeling his fear into action rather than letting it paralyze him. One of the most exciting confirmed elements is the flashback sequences. Gooseworks released an official image showing Kinger and Ragatha, and their expressions tell us everything. Ragatha looks anxious and confused in a way that's completely different from her usual composed demeanor. And Kinger looks genuinely surprised, which is notable because we know he doesn't react that way to characters he's familiar with. This confirms we're finally getting the backstory reveals fans have been begging for. And it won't just be about Jax. At minimum, Ragatha will also experience memory recovery. Speaking of Jax's backstory, we know the focus will be on Ribbit, his best friend, whose loss has clearly been Jax's deepest wound in the circus. The voice actor for Ribbit, Sky Redden, has posted multiple videos from her recording sessions, confirming that Ribbit will have substantial screen time in episode 8. Here's my prediction for the structure. Episode 8 will open with the most emotionally vulnerable and heartfelt sequence we've seen in the entire series so far. After 7 episodes of slowly revealing character depths, Episode 8 will finally give us the full picture of who these people were before the circus and what they've lost. It'll be the moment where everything clicks into place, where we finally understand why each character behaves the way they do. This emotional opening will serve as the foundation for what I expect to be an increasingly intense ride toward the finale. Episode 8 is shaping up to be a game changer, a 40-plus minute deep dive into the characters' pasts while setting up the final confrontation with Caine and the nature of the digital circus itself. What are you most excited to see in Episode 8? Do you think Jax will step up as a leader, or will someone else take charge? Drop your theories in the comments below, and if you want more digital circus breakdowns as we get closer to March 20th, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next video.